Morning, everybody. Everybody ready? Yeah, so let me start off as I usually do, that this is preliminary information, subject to change as the investigators get further into the case. So let me try and explain this to you without going into excruciating detail, but I want to make sure that everybody understands exactly what happened here. So there was a call for a young man in the 300 block of Dixon, excuse me, who was hurting himself with a knife. When officers arrived, they stayed outside. They spoke to a supervisor telling him that they were going to leave the individual in the house since no one else was in there and no one else was in danger from this individual. So as the officers were on the phone with the supervisor, the individual came out the door and started walking toward the officers. He had 2 knives in his hands. The officers backed up, continued to back up, actually ran back as the individual was advancing on them, on the 2 officers. One of the officers deployed a taser. It didn't have effect on the individual because both contacts didn't connect. And with that, the suspect threw a knife, actually before the officer threw the knife at the officer. I'm sorry, let me start over here again. After the young man threw the knife at the officer deployed the taser. Taser didn't connect. And at that point, the young man started running after the officer with the knife. And at that point, the officer shot. But there was a very, very diligent effort made by the officers to de-escalate this and back off, hopefully not having to use force on the individual. But that's the way it turned out. So that's where we are right now. Again, this might change as we get further into the investigation, but that's what we know right now.
What's the status of the person who was shot?
Pardon?
What is the status of the person who was shot?
He was shot once in the shoulder, once in the thigh, and my understanding is that he's at SAPD stable right now.
One officer fired?
One officer.
Is he a minor?
Yes.
Age?
16.
16. And you said one officer.
And I know the question's eventually going to come up that, well, why didn't you call SA Corps? SA Corps wouldn't have come out to this kind of call anyway because of a knife involved, a weapon involved. And the officers didn't have enough time since he charged at him as soon as he came outside the house. So.
Were there any previous calls of that address?
Yes.
Involving mental health?
Yes.
Any more questions?
Your guys are okay?
Yes. Officers are okay.
Did he have one knife or 2?
Pardon?
Did he have one knife or 2? Witnesses said he had one in each hand.
He had 2 knives. Threw one, after which the officer tried to tase him. And when the taser didn't take effect, the individual started running after the officer. And the officer was backing up, and then finally used his service weapon.
Years of service for the officers?
About 6 years each.
Okay, thank y'all very much.
Thanks, everybody.